Well, hi, everybody. Welcome in once again to another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and I am one happy guy today. Why am I happy? Well, because it's hot here still in Las Vegas, and you know I'm a hot weather guy. Secondly, we got our major going. We got the U.S. Open happening today at Pinehurst number 2, which is a great golf course. I think it's going to give a lot of these guys some issues. And also happy because we got one of my favorite guests on the show today. We have a short show because my guest, Brian Mogg, has to leave pretty soon to fly to one of his other academies in Washington. So we're going to get in as much as we can. So before we start real quickly, let me give you some of the betting odds for the U.S. Open. Scotty Scheffler, is a favorite, of course, at 3-1. Colin Morikawa, our homie, is 15-1, and he's playing great golf lately. Brian DeChambeau is 20-1. Xander Schauffele is 11-1. Brooks Koepka is 25-1. Probably wondering about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is 35th in terms of the betting handles. So that means he's way down there. I think he's like 125-1. So he shot 4 over today, 74. And I don't know if you know this, the last 5 Opens have been won by players that have never previously won a major. And I think that very well might be the case today. So let me tell you a little bit about Brian before we bring him on. Brian is a former tour player, and he's ranked as a top 50 instructor, very well respected throughout the golf industry. He is a contributor to both Golf Magazine and Golf.com. Brian also owns and operates 5 worldwide golf academies, with his home base being the Brian Mogg Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And we'll talk briefly about his other locations. He got one in Korea, one in Honolulu, one in Washington, and he's all over the place. Anyway, let me bring up Brian Mogg right now and get started because, like I say, we only have a limited amount of time. Brian, thanks for doing this. I know you're ready to get to the airport. And aren't you originally from Washington, if memory serves me correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Tacoma, Washington. One of my academies is at Chambers Bay, where we had the Open 8 years ago. So,
wonderful golf course.
We've got golf schools starting up at Chambers Bay early next week.
Yeah, all right. Let me get going. Other than not practicing enough, Brian, what other reason or reasons do you think weekend players struggle to get better?
Number one, they don't have a plan. A plan is not, hey, I think I might go hit a few balls, or I'm going to go putt for 5 minutes. You got to make some kind of assessment of your game and say, look, I'm weak in this area, I'm strong in this area.
Yeah.
Typically, golfers practice what they're bad at. And I learned a cool lesson from baseball great Hershiser one day. He ended up coaching my son in Little League, became good friends, and I asked him after a while, it became good friends. I said, how did you ever make it in the majors? Because I don't really know your story. And he said, I'm a 33rd round draft pick out of Bowling Green. I got to Dodger a rookie ball. I looked around camp, and there were 50 other pitchers that were throwing, low to mid-90s like I was. And I figured out that I needed to do something better than everybody else. So I went and developed a sinker ball that when he had his great year in the late 80s, he was the most dominant pitcher maybe of all time for a couple-year period. Then he had a huge career. So he says, I purpose to make my good stuff stronger, not just work on my weaknesses. So he ended up with a fantastic sinker ball and a pretty good fastball. But I don't think golfers practice that way. They think one part of their game is bad, so they give a little lip service to practice, intending they're going to get their weaknesses better. But sometimes you should actually make your strengths stronger, like Oral did.
Absolutely. That's great advice. And I've got a question a little bit later that's going to cover this. Golfers, as you know very well, are fascinated with distance while overlooking other parts of the game that I think are the scoring parts of the game, like chipping and putting. Do you agree, number one? And what do you tell your students about that?
Well, I mean, the honest truth is there needs to be balance. I mean, last time you ever shot your lowest round, I guarantee you putted and chipped well. I mean, you got the ball in the hole. So you've got to go out there and prioritize that part of your game so that at least it's say neutral, but never a weakness. There's no denying, though, that if you can hit wedge in the green versus a 7-iron, you're probably going to play better. So that's why the whole thing comes down to what's your plan? How are you going to get better? Some people out there need speed. Some people need to putt better. You need to come up with a plan to where you get your day timer out and go, well, Mondays and Thursdays at 4, I'm going to get off work and I'm going to hit balls for an hour and I'm going to target these two parts of my game and get better. That's at least a modest plan. It's, every tour player I work with, and I'm sure other coaches do too, you're not just out there kind of randomly on one day throwing stuff at them. I mean, it's part of a plan of what you're working towards. And most amateurs, they intend to work hard, but life is busy. They just don't really end up making much of a plan.
Right. No, that's very, very true. I mentioned you have a number of academies all around. Do you have a regular traveling rotation for visiting your golf academies?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of a weather snob because somehow in the wintertime I stay in Orlando, and then as the weather gets so hot here, I somehow managed to get out to Chambers Bay in Seattle, where it's just usually amazing all summer long. I spent a ton of time in Toronto in the summer as well, which same thing. The weather's fantastic. So
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Where is the academy in Korea, by the way?
It's called Nambu, and it's in Yongin, which is a suburb of Seoul. It's not too far from a couple of the top courses that are over there, but got two former LPGA players that were my students that we started the academy, it's been maybe 12 years ago, and doing unbelievably well. It's obviously very popular golf-wise in Korea, but a lot of our juniors over there are just doing great, and I keep seeing some of the posts they're making of some of the girls winning tournaments and having really, really good success in Seoul.
Would you agree with me? Because now on the LPGA Tour, as you know, I don't think the Americans are ever going to dominate again like they did in years past. You see the leaderboard, and they're Asian or they're from some other country, and the American women, Brian, are just not letting it happen as much as say.
You better take Nelly out of that equation, because
that's
Nelly's
true.
won 5 in a row, and Nelly's in some ways brought that back to where American golfers dominated at least the majority of 2024.
Yeah.
But broadly, it's been really weird for me to be a part of the process of all that, because Sari Pak came over when I was working at Ledbetter's when she was 15. And, I watched Sari win 2 majors as she turned 18, and was just the nicest girl and was so talented. And I was fortunate. Her final year, 2016, she called me and said, "I want you to coach me my final year." So I got to kind of see it, be a part of that. And there's about 10 other Korean girls I've worked with that have won on tour, and just to watch, going over to Korea quite frequently, working with Wai Yang as closely as I did, just to watch the mindset of the Korean golfer, how passionate they are. Very, very left brain, kind of as a stereotype, in how they process information. So the discipline levels are crazy off the charts. Their kind of adherence to detail and making everything just unbelievably perfect. That's why they make great cars.
Yeah.
Just to be a part of that process and seeing huge success over the last, say, 15, 20 years is been very, very cool for me to be on the inside and see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they really, really get into it, and you've got to give them credit. All right, last question before we take our first break. What do you suggest to your students? And we talked about a little bit, you did, with regards to a proper warm-up routine rather than getting to the range, teeing up balls, and trying to slug it as far as you can. Where should they start?
All right, they should drive the speed limit to the course. So how's that for a crazy answer?
Yeah.
So true story. Let me give you a quick true story. I started working with Wai Yang in early 2008. We worked for the whole year. Didn't have crazy success, even though he made a lot of cuts. He finished 30th and 40th all the time, so he lost his card. Went back to Q school, got it back. We got to the West Coast, and some things clicked early that year. We were at Pebble specifically, and all these changes we've been making for about a year started clicking in. He started playing really good. So he finished maybe 15th or 20th the last 2 West Coast events. I meet him down at the Honda Classic in Palm Beach. And it's just Stripe City. And I kind of remember thinking, this guy might win something here in the next month or so. He's playing so good. Well, at Honda, he took the lead after Friday, kept a 1-shot lead after Saturday, and I'd come back to Orlando. He's got a 12:45 tee time on Sunday midday. And at 12:30, my phone rings, and the phone says Wai Yang, and I'm thinking, well, you got to have your phone turned off. This is way too close to your tee time for me to be calling me. And I answered, it was his agent. And he said why he didn't sleep last night. He's so nervous. The range at PGA National is huge, and his exact words were, he can't find the range. He's got nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have any advice for him? Which is pretty much the question you just asked me. Well, I gave him this answer, and as I hung up in my head, I went, oh, that was so stupid. I can't believe that's the answer. I had 10 seconds to give an answer, and I gave a stupid answer. So all you can do is watch the internet for the first 6, 8 holes, and well, he birdied 3 of the first 5 holes to go to a 4-shot lead. He comes down to the 18th hole. He's got about a 2.5 footer to win the tournament, and he makes it. And he goes running around celebrating. Roger Mulvey comes over, sticks the mic in his face, and says, "Your first win in America. How'd this happen?" And he goes, "I was so nervous last night I couldn't sleep. I got to the range this morning. I couldn't make contact. I didn't know what I was going to do. I called my coach, Brian Mogg, right as I was walking on the first tee, and he reminded me to walk, talk, think, swing at the same cadence." So I got on the first hole, and I just started trying to walk smooth around the first tee. I started to walk really smooth down the first fairway. I birdied 3 of the first 5 holes, and I went on and won the tournament. I can't believe it worked. And I had gone up to stand next to the TV, and when he said that, I literally fell back into the couch. It was 4 hours after he made the phone call. He's talking about it on national TV, but too many golfers drive too fast to the course, jump out, and try and swing smooth.
Yeah.
Or warm up. So driving smoothly, walking smoothly, talking smoothly is a good way to get your rhythm going as you get to a golf course, get to a round of golf.
Interesting, and good advice, Brian, stay with us. We're going to take a real short break. We come back, we'll have more from our special guest, top 50 instructor Brian Mogg. Be right back.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
One of the perks about being in golf media is that I get to try every club ever made. Of course, like most things, some are better than others. I'm here to tell you that I have found unquestionably the absolute best performing set of irons I have ever played, and my scores show it. Let me introduce you to Grindworks, custom fitted irons that are made to fit your game. Grindworks offers players 3 different styles of irons. You can choose muscleback irons, cavity back irons, and even blades, along with some awesome wedges. And when you purchase your clubs, Grindworks lets you choose the type of shaft you want, the type grip you prefer, and even will adjust the loft and lie of your clubs if needed. That's unheard of. So what are you waiting for? Feel the power and experience and performance of these amazing clubs. Simply go to grindworksusa.com or call 281-651-4046 to order. Trust me, your handicap will love you for it. All right, welcome back, everybody. Started a great conversation with one of our special guests, Mr. Brian Mogg, one of our favorite guests. Brian, do you think some golfers today are getting overloaded? And what I mean by that, they've got overloaded with swing advice. They have the internet, they have books, they have magazines, they have subscriptions. Maybe too much?
100% too much. I mean, I'm tired of golfers that are good friends, students who become good friends, and their idea of fun is to sit on the internet and Google stuff for an hour and a half at night, and they come back with their head full of stuff, and it's just so hard to separate good from bad, because thankfully most golfers, most teachers, are not bad people. They're not ill will trying to hurt people. It's just you want to throw so much information out there, and pretty soon you know it. Dennis has keys, Brian has keys we need for our games, and it's very hard to stay on the straight and narrow for what our personal keys are.
Right.
Because what works for you might not work for me. Therefore, golfers don't discern that very well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What are your thoughts about students using training aids, Brian? And do you use any while giving lessons?
All right. Well, first off, everybody needs feels. A feel can be a training aid, a feel can be a practice swing, a feel could be a downhill, side hill lie. So as a golfer, so much of us learn visually through feel. So, whether it's a contraption of some sort. You've got to do something to feel, the club get more inside, more outside, or your body not moving a certain way. So anything you do to make you feel better has got to be something that's part of the process.
Yeah, I agree with that. How do you go about, with the academies all around, how do you go about selecting the instructors that you hire? Do they have to have a certain philosophy, swing philosophy, or what? What do you judge to hire them?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. One, I've been doing this for so long. The people I've got at my academies they're friends who've been with me for quite a while. But there's just really good young teachers that I've been so fortunate in my life. I mean, David Ledbetter and Mike Adams are two of my biggest mentors, and I got to shadow and be a part of their life and watch them teach. And if you can watch somebody teach, it's a blessing because it really helps you see things through their eyes.
Yeah.
And discern cause and effect. So the one thing I'm always trying to do with my teachers is make sure you're talking about cause and effect. You're not teaching some method that you're throwing at everybody. And that's what's kind of missing to me in the game of golf instruction right now. Is you can get popular and famous with some cliche of way you teach. I don't want to. What do? We help golfers get better, and sometimes that's psychology. Sometimes it's short game. Sometimes it's technical stuff. And you've got to really figure out each person what they need the most and try to discern what that is. So you're going right to the root cause of the problem. And
right.
That's something that I've had such fantastic mentors in my life that I hope years from now, the younger kids and the guys who've worked for me would come back and say, man, I learned so much from Brian about trying to get to the root cause of the issue.
And that's what you need to do, not just slap a Band-Aid on it. You got to get to the root cause, and you got to fix the darn thing. Let me ask you this: with the U.S. Open starting, you got any picks for the Open? And have you played out of Pinehurst?
I played a U.S. Amateur there where I shot one of my best rounds of my life ever when I had to. I played an NCAA there. I've probably played it another 10 or 15 times over the years. And very interesting how the course has evolved from heavy Bermuda, heavy, thick grass, and even from when Payne won the 1 year. The course now is much more sandy, much more, I don't say linksy, but kind of linksy golf right now. And you're going to get a little more position. So a few days ago, I put my video up and posted what I thought was going to win. And, if you don't pick Scotty, you're crazy. And the way Colin and Zender have been playing, those three are kind of a given that they're going to be in the top five somewhere and have a chance to win. But my prediction was kind of what you said earlier. I think a first-time golfer's going to win. And I threw names out there. I said Cantley, Cam Young, and Victor Hovland, with kind of Hovland being my final pick. Seems like we're going to maybe get a little more of a European winner that's a little more creative since the ball's got to be on the ground. I do think I saw a little of the TV this morning. I couldn't believe how green it was playing. Everything I'm seeing here is the course is going to be browned out and crazy fast by the end of the week. So I think as the USGA kind of dries it out, you're going to have to be that linksy European player probably has got maybe a little bit more favorite than maybe a traditional American player might.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with you. I think that the course is going to be very, very interesting to those guys. But we're going to see what happens. It's going to be a great event. Do you get more technical in your teaching when you're teaching a tour player such as you were, as opposed to a guy that's coming to you that's a 15 handicap?
One of the tricks to being a good teacher is to read your student and to figure out what type of learning style they like the most. And research shows 71% of people learn visually. So you have to kind of figure out one of the ways to learn so you can communicate that person is going to receive it the most. And one of the cool things I witnessed early in my teaching career with Ledbetter was as he taught Fallow through all those majors, Nick was a very auditory learner. Nick had to hear it, so he was always putting things into kind of a catchy phrase.
Yeah.
And that was what Nick's little trick was to make himself play the best. It wasn't something I would have done, but boy, watching it work up close was pretty darn cool. So now, there's times when you got to give a student something technical and all that. There's times when you've got to back off. And kind of a funny story. I remember it was the 2004 U.S. Open at Shinnecock, and I was with Skip Kendall for most of the practice rounds. And Skip, being a really good player, went to UNLV there.
Yep, he did.
played solid in the practice rounds, nothing alarming going on. And at 3:30 on the range on Thursday afternoon, he says, something doesn't feel right. And I said, well, let's just do a quick review check of everything. And we did that. And the first thing he looked at was his grip, and his left hand, the grip had slid up into the palm of his left hand. It wasn't his fingers. He had no snap on it. So at 3:30 on Wednesday afternoon, you change a guy's grip at the U.S. Open on a course that's going to be maybe as hard as anyone out there. We talked about it for a bit and finally said, you know what, let's do it. It's the right grip. Go into your fingers a little bit more. You're going to have a little more set in the club, which is what he lacked anyway. So we did that. We ended up being first round leader in the morning. The next morning, it would go on to finish about 15th, and it was kind of an important lesson about you can kind of make some changes with the fundamentals, maybe not the deep technicals, but you can do something like get the club in your fingers, feel the club more, and go.
Yeah. I wish Skip would play a little bit more. You don't see him out on tour anymore.
No, he doesn't. Champions Tour has changed. He's got maybe 10, 11 million in career earnings. It's up to 22 million to be exempt right there, and he is in Orlando coaching short game a lot right now, and he's really good at it. Yeah. Good guy, and like you say, went to UNLV, and I get him. I'll hook you up with him and get him on your show. He'd be great.
I would love it. Oh, Brian, I would love it. That would be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, stay with us. We're up against a hard break. Come back. We're going to finish up with you so you can get to the airport. We're going to be right back after this with more with Brian Mogg. The revolutionary Power to Golf Club requires no swing to hit golf shots from 50 up to 225 yards. That's right, no swing. It's empowering golfers with physical issues to continue enjoying time golfing with friends and family. With just the push of a button, the easy-to-use Power to Golf Club launches shots down the fairway and onto the green. Whether a physical issue or just want to join in on the fun, the Power to Golf Club is for you. Visit online, powergolfclub.com.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And remember, you could check more of us out if you go to our website, 19th Hole Podcast for golfers.com, and you can listen to the show. And if you do, please give us a like, please subscribe, and we very much appreciate that as well, obviously. Last question for you, Brian. If you were in a position, since former tour player, you know the rules, if you were able to change one thing about the rules on tour, what would that be?
I'll give you an easy solution here. One of my close friends was in my wedding. We went to high school. Is John Bodenhammer, who kind of is number 2 or 3 men at the USGA. He's running the tournament this week at Pinehurst. I was playing a U.S. Open qualifier maybe 6-8 years ago and laid up on this par 5 perfect 70-80 yard shot. The pin stuck over the bunker. My ball's in a massive divot. I had no shot, made bogey. And I called John afterwards and I said, I'm not here to gripe about it. I'm here to give you a solution. And what I would change is I would give a 1 time per round in your fairway only relief from a divot. And much like in the NFL, you get to throw the red challenge flag. On your scorecard, you get a 1 time. See, when we were kids, it used to be fun trying to hit balls out of divots. We'd laugh about it, and then you play a 7-iron back in your stance and you punch it up on the green. Well, today's world, there's big lip bunkers.
Yeah.
You can't play that shot anymore. I mean, in the old days when the greens were kind of easy to kind of roll and bounce the ball on the green, it wasn't that big a deal. But nowadays, why are you being penalized in your own fairway? Was it Payne Stewart that lost the Open Olympic one year on the back nine? He drove it in a divot and chunked it out. It's like, it's not the most perfect rules change maybe I'd ever do, but it's something I'm pretty passionate about, that you shouldn't be penalized for hitting the ball in your fairway because someone else didn't replace a divot.
Yeah. Interesting,
So
because the people I asked that question to, Brian, it comes up the most. I would, about being in a divot and being able to move it and stuff like that.
John was appreciative. At least you've given me a solution, not just a complaint. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully USGA or somebody finally maybe jumps on that over the years.
Yeah, no, very good. All right, this will be the last one. Quickly, your opinion about the Live Tour.
I'm a big fan of the PGA Tour.
All right, I guess that says it all, huh?
I just, I know we all like to get paid more for our jobs and everything we're doing. You can't really knock what's gone on. I'm not seeing for the betterment of the game. I'm seeing the betterment of a few people. So I would prefer to see not just more money thrown at issues. Prefer to see more growth in the game and all that. And having played the PGA Tour, I think a lot of the quality of the product, it's just, on one hand, it's sad, though, that you can't get the two entities together to come up with a solution. So
yeah, it is.
Hopefully that's in the near future.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, and they've got to come to some agreement. Maybe, have a competing event, which I think would interest a lot of people. Anyway, Brian, I want to thank you for your time. I'm going to let you go because I know you got to get to the airport.
I got a flight. I got to catch here quickly.
Have a great time at your academy, and we'll get you on sooner than later when you're home, when you don't have to get to the airport. And we wish you all the best, my friend.
All right. Same to you, Dennis. Play well.
Thank you very much. All right, Brian Mogg, everybody. Great guy, great teacher. Very well thought of in the industry. All right, we're going to take one more break, and we're going to finish the show.
Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf not slowing down. His third year at the PGA Show, and the cameras are still following him. This time, Whistle Sports Media and Entertainment and Fox 35's morning show in Orlando, Florida. Spectrum Golf Apparel, one of the few lines selected for the PGA Fashion Show, is designed with skin sensitivity in mind, like Carter's. Get your super soft golf gear today at carterspectrumgolf.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers, but I'm not here today to talk to you about golf. I'm here to talk to you about America's favorite pastime, baseball. America's pastime is back and better than ever with a twist you won't believe. Introducing Old Timers Day, a movie coming soon to theaters near you.
It is a story detailing the greatest baseball game of all time. Two teams, one chosen by God, one chosen by Satan, with the greatest players of all time, living and deceased, playing alongside each other to determine the fate of mankind.
This book, world tour, and movie will help unify the millions of baseball fans around the country and help satisfy the millions of people that have faith and compassion for their fellow man.
Who will win this epic game? You'll have to watch to find out. Expect an unforgettable experience that will touch your heart and soul. The Good Old Boys is brought to you by the Celestial Baseball Association, who are hitting home runs for God. Old Timers Day, where the spirit of baseball meets the power of faith. Don't miss it. Order your copy of Old Timers Day on Amazon or dpztechnology.com/store. Get this, use promo code OTD20 for an amazing 20% off. Hi, I'm Dennis Silvers for 8 News Now, here with another Golf Minute. I'm with Karen Dunphy, longtime LPGA teaching professional out here at Las Vegas National. And Karen, every golfer has played into the wind and they want to hit the ball low, but they have problems. What's the best way to do it?
So when you swing hard at a ball and you hit it hard, the spin rate on the ball makes the ball curve upwards. So we want to be able to make our full swing, maybe add another club. So instead of hitting an 8-iron, I'll drop down and hit a 7-iron, take dead aim, and make sure that I just let that air out because I don't want any tension if I'm going to swing easy. Go back nice and slow. And hit the ball nice and low.
You make the tip look really, really easy, and it's not even breezy here. For the Golf Minute, I'm Dennis Silvers. We'll see you back next time. So long. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole Podcast. For golfers, for Brian, I'm Dennis Silvers, and we hope you enjoy watching the Open or get out and play some golf if you can. Till then, we'll see you back next week. So long, everybody.